VCR Podcast with your host, Vish.
They're just bastardizing our childhood and the classics.
Chris.
Nintendogs drove me. It's what makes me want to hurt people.
Radical.
People in general still bitch about everything. It still doesn't change.
Let the podcast begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the VCR Podcast, the only podcast that predates itself in the moment the title is spoken. Adam, aka CS Radical, here with you guys. Jin and Chris, Views Vishal's here with me. Episode 65. We are 4 weeks away from the milestone of 69 shows.
Nice.
Yeah, it feels nice, doesn't it?
Next milestone will be 420.
Nice. Yeah. So otherwise, how are you guys doing today?
Fantastic. My legs hurt.
It was pretty nice outside.
I mean, it's not as much now, although it's not 20 centimeters of snow and fucking freezing, so I'm not bitching. I'm trying really hard not to.
Yeah, it was actually... I love how 6 degrees...
This is a change lovely. For Adam.
Shh. Don't give away my secrets. Yeah. Another podcast. So, doing what we always do, we're starting off with our high score of the week. I feel like taking a gamble here. Chris, what have you been up to?
That's... I was like, oh my god, he's going with Vish. He's starting with Brick Breaker. So I've been playing games, as per usual. I'm still playing shocking. I'm still playing Tales of Vesperia. I should be done that one probably next week for next week's podcast because I'm very close to the end. So once I'm done it, I'll do a basic review on that one there, so I'll save that. I've been playing Ring Fit Adventure because I started working out again, and it is one of the types of workouts I've decided to do. I forgot how fucking hard that game can actually kick my ass.
Yeah, that game breaks
because you look and it's just like, oh, it's a Pilates ring. This is going to be easy. And then it's like, do a backflip to fight. Now do 40 of them. It's like, what the fuck? There's no actual backflips, but you feel like you are. So yeah, I've been doing that.
It sounds intense from what I've heard about it.
It is. It's like do 50 So I just upgraded to a new squat. And it's called like a wide leg squat. And it's just a harder squat than the one it was already making me do 50 to 100 of. So it's like do 25 squats.
Yeah, it's almost...
Then do like, okay, run on the spot. Okay, now fight this enemy. Okay, do like fucking 100 planks or like plank for a fucking whole lot of time. No, sorry, it's do a plank, lift your ass up, and then plow the floor like you're fucking it. But every time you do that, it's a workout, and now do it 40 times. Like, it's just constant. It's like, holy fuck. It's a good workout. It want to kill me, and I bought it to do that.
It's the Joker line. I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really badly.
Yeah.
No. It's you're not going to kill yourself. You're just going to hurt yourself really, really bad.
Yeah.
Right, so to paraphrase the Joker.
Yeah, exactly. We live in a society.
We live in a society. He said it. And then I have 2 more games. And honestly, I've been torn which one I want to talk about for my highlight of the week. Because neither of them are like a highlight where it's like, man, this is fucking awesome. Like both of them I have opinions about. I don't know which one to talk about. One of them is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Castlevania, homage.
Yeah, the spiritual successor to Castlevania. It's the creator of Castlevania who came back and did... apparently this is the 3rd one because there was 2 Bloodstained, but they were in 8-bit graphics. Like they look like Castlevania from NES. And then they did another Metroidvania, but like PS2 or 3 graphics. It's kind of like it looks gorgeous, but obviously they've just kind of done like a 2.5D game. And I had to quit it because the game was great, but I found it too hard. Like I couldn't get past the first boss in the game. And I think it was just going to take a long time to actually be able to beat him because you have to practice like certain spells and everything. Plus you can buy weapons and synthesize weapons and gather materials to make different weapons and all this other stuff and find recipes. And when you eat, you get a permanent stat boost. And I felt like this game's going to take a lot of time to actually get good enough to beat. where it should take like 10 hours, but it's going to take like 40 just because of the amount of grinding that would probably need to happen, because I'm not a very skilled 2D gamer. I'm good at games. You give me a Super Mario, stuff like that, like I enjoy them, they're fun. But it's not like I'm one of those like where I can memorize the boss's attacks and like jump and do a dodge and then attack and like do something where the battle takes 10 minutes. But if I get hit 2 or 3 times, I'm dead, and that's okay. I'm just not that good at these kind of games, and I'll admit that, and I'm not afraid to. But yeah, I had to quit it because it was too hard. You're seeing the gameplay now. It's pretty basic. There's not too much, I guess, to say about it. I think the game's great. It doesn't have an easy mode. It's one of those normal, hard, nightmare. Like, those are the only options. And it's only really the bosses that kick my ass. One really cool thing, though, I'll say before I move on, is that the first boss was voiced by David Hayter.
Nice.
Solid
Snake.
Yeah, and I actually...
Was he not a giant snake? Because otherwise that's disappointing.
No, oddly enough, you fight something very snake-like at the beginning of the game. So sorry, I beat the first boss, but that's like the tutorial boss. And I died to the tutorial boss, so that shows something. He's the second boss, and he's actually a playable character that you unlock once you like beat the game or get near the end. His name's like Zangetsu or something like that. He's a samurai that also has a grappling hook, and he's pretty badass.
So
and you can actually, yeah, oh god, it is. Oh, I can't believe.
Sorry, your voice cut out. What did you say?
I said so he's riding.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you finish him?
Yeah, no, I couldn't. He's the boss that kicked my ass.
I said Raiden, not Raiden.
I couldn't beat Raiden.
Oh. Okay.
I couldn't beat him. It was I couldn't beat Solid Snake as Raiden in a Castlevania game. As weird enough as that is to say. So I had to stop. The game is beautiful. It's fun. It's just too hard, so I had to stop. And the only reason I was playing it is because it's coming off Game Pass on the 16th of this month. So whenever I see a game I wanted to try, I quickly give it a go. I played 2 or 3 hours, but again, yeah, I not enough that I'm going to grind it out over the next couple.
It's okay though. You're not going to miss it because every sports game under the fucking sun is going on Game Pass now.
Yeah, I'll just play all the sports games,
including the GOAT of games, Madden.
Exactly.
Well, now Madden fucking like 2012 or 13 all the way to now 21 are going to be on fucking Game Pass. That's too much Madden. What the fuck?
No such thing.
Yeah, exactly. Even Adam was agreeing with me on this one.
I'm agreeing by the law that we have created on this show. It is punishable by death to believe in anything else.
But Madden.
But
the Madden blessings.
So the last game... Sorry, there was one more I had that I was talking about.
No, with this game, do you find...
With this game, sorry, yeah.
So do you find with this game, do you find it's more of a... you can go into it casually, like play it once in a while, or it's something you really need to like marathon and grind it out until you're finished?
Oh no, there's save rooms, much like Super Metroid. So you can even see on the map there that was just up. There's a red room on the map, and it looks like this, and that's the save room. The problem is I would get to a certain point, and my health would be too low, and I didn't have any potions. I don't have any healing spells or anything, and I'd die, but it would send me back to the last save room. And sometimes I'd lose like 15 minutes of playtime because I just didn't happen to find a save room while I was playing. So I would have to redo everything. And I had a map open up on my phone so I could see where all just the save rooms was, just so I could know, all right, if I'm near this area, there's a save room there. And I'd go and make sure I went there. But it still didn't help because even adding that in, I still couldn't get past the second boss. And it's casual if you want to spread it out over a long period of time, for sure, if you find the save rooms. Is it casual for a casual gamer? No. It's one of those like hardcore games that's going to be tough. So if you only casually play games, you probably will have a difficult time beating it.
I mean, it's a homage to Castlevania. Castlevania was always difficult.
Castlevania, yeah. Like I never beat any of the original Castlevanias. They were too hard for me. I'd get to a point and I had fun.
Do you find with this game that you could potentially earn skills and power-ups, which would make the game easier and potentially more, less murderously rage-inducing?
Yes, but you'd have to grind a while to find... Because at the beginning, spells you earn by killing an enemy, you pick up a skill that enemy had. You kind of absorb them that way. At the beginning of the game, there's only so many enemies, and there's no like overpowered magic. So it's all weapons but the only way to get better weapons is to find materials, take them to the shop, and synthesize and research and get better weapons. So you'd have to spend a whole bunch of time running around. Like, that's what I probably would have had to do to beat this boss. I was only doing like 10 damage to him, and he had a lot of health. I think I only got to like half once taking him down, but it took 3 shots and I was dead. And he has a fucking massive samurai sword. So what the fuck? Katana. Yeah. The other game I was playing, I played through and I beat. But I really wanted to mention this one because it's one of Adam's favorite games of all time. And it's Myst on PC. Because Adam, I believe you had said you did not like.
Oh,
Myst.
It's Myst. Oh, I didn't catch it first. I'm like, wait, it's fucking Myst. Ugh.
So I played through and beat Real Myst, which is the version of Myst that came out only a few years ago. They remastered it, and you can actually walk around instead of just a point-and-click adventure. I have things to say about this because I was just joking when it was like, obviously, like, when I just brought it up. It is. I have good things and bad things about it. I have probably to say. Myst is obviously a classic. Vishal, have you heard of Myst before? I'm sure you've heard of it, or at least saw the PC box.
Okay, so when I first saw Myst, to me it looked more like a first-person maze type game.
It is exactly that.
Okay,
First-person
so
puzzles.
I'm not... Okay,
yeah, it's exactly that.
that's what that's what I saw it as. So I was correct on the assumption.
Yeah, the original game, it's like a first-person point-and-click, and like you'll click, you'll move an elevator, you'll do whatever. And like, first of all, I appreciate this game because it's kind of the first-person puzzle game, I think. And the remastered version, it's like what you're seeing on the screen, but you can actually freely walk. You don't have to click. You still have that option, but you can just use the joystick on a controller, which I used, to walk forward, which is nice, of course. I appreciate what this game is doing because I just finished that Call of the Sea that was on Xbox like back in December. I finished this. I talked about it on the podcast. Same idea. It's a first-person puzzle game. I loved that game because it's more modern. They actually made it better. They took that formula and they've had over like 25 years to perfect it. This game, I appreciate it for what it is and the aesthetic. It's a very pretty looking game and it's a very cool world. Like, it's a place I'd want to go and explore. The game is too fucking hard. Like, the puzzles make no fucking sense and there's just no direction.
Do you
land
find
on that island? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you find the game is outdated though?
No. Like, the only thing outdated about it is just, like, what do you do? Like, this game is you're thrown onto this island and there's no clues. You literally have to fucking search around and figure stuff out on your own. Some stuff I was able to figure out, like in the library, you go to this elevator, you go to a map in the bottom of the library and you can actually rotate it. And where you're rotating the map, it will aim at one of these different landmarks on Myst Island. When it's aimed at that landmark, you can go up an elevator, you'll look out a window and you will see what you're looking at. Some gears, a spaceship, a clock tower, a bunch of stuff.
Wait, from what the video Adam is displaying right now, I'm just noticing that like the movement in it is quite jagged. Like it's like it's skipping steps.
Oh, that's
almost.
that's the original.
Yeah,
so
this
is
guy's
the
probably
original
playing
game,
the
and
original
that's where you
settings.
yeah.
Okay.
You actually have to click to move forward. Like, it's an actual like click and you'll move to that area.
It's
There was no
basically like
movement
images
on the
almost.
casement.
Okay, but
Yeah,
so does it in the updated version? When you click to move, it's more of a seamless animation rather than like
Yes.
click.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But you can leave this version on and click to move forward because that's the traditional old way of doing it.
The game still sucks no matter what they've done with it, though. It's still stupid.
I think they could have I think this game could be updated for like, I don't know, a baby edition or something where it has like easier puzzles and stuff, and it would be fun. I liked searching around the world, but again, the puzzles are too hard. And the story is just like, what the fuck is the story? You don't figure it out until the end. And even then, I still didn't really understand it. There's a father, a wife, and 2 kids. The father has the ability to travel through books and create worlds. Father creates Myst. His two sons betray him, traps his wife on another island, which you don't even deal with until the sequel to Myst, Riven, or whatever the hell that game's called. The two boys are then trapped in books, a red book, a blue book. There are four areas of the island you can go to. You have to figure out how to get to those areas, which is solving a puzzle, which is really fucking hard. Then you get there, and with no direction, you still don't know what to do. But you find a red page, a blue page, and then you have to solve a puzzle just to get back to the island. You have to take either the red page and give it to the red book to try and free that brother, or the blue page to the other book to free the other brother. So I figured that out kind of halfway into the game. After I already gave, like here in the video, they're giving the red page to the red book. So you're going to see the brother talking through a video from within the book. Yes, it's all kinds of fucked up. It doesn't make sense. And all it is go to four areas and you have to choose a page to give it to one of the brothers and free them. The funny part is, and I don't know if you guys care about spoilers, I assume neither of you do, nor anyone will know.
For this spoilers, one, I won't.
Just in case if anybody's listening and afraid to know the fucking ending of Myst, which still makes no sense. If you
spoiler alert.
If you give all four red pages to the red book, you get the bad ending, where this brother gets freed and traps you on Myst forever and you die. If you give all four pages to the blue book, that brother traps you on Myst and you die, and it's also the bad ending. To get the good ending, when you're getting the last page, there's a third book, and you open it, and it has the dad in there. However, there's another separate puzzle that you have to solve by finding two pieces of paper in one of those two fucking towers that's ripped in half. Find it, write it down because it's fucking 1993 or whenever this game came out. Write out what the fuck that piece of paper says because you can't take it with you. You can read it on your screen, but then that's it. You have to put the paper down. So you have to write down this shit. Go around on the main island, turn on all these switches, and turn off one, and then a white page is hidden under there. When you go to get the last page, you don't get one of those last pages. You take the white page to the secret book that doesn't show up to the end of the fucking game, and that takes you to a different world where you meet the dad because he's been hidden off somewhere else looking for the wife, and you have to talk to him, and then he goes and he just destroys the two books, killing his sons and being like, thank you, I'm going to call on your help later to help me save my wife. Setting up for a sequel to the game. What the fuck just happened?
A lot of games in the 90s were dumb as fuck.
Yeah, I'm assuming maybe the instructions that came with the game explained why you're on Myst or what the fuck's going on. Holy fuck. Like, without that, if that even existed, this game is super fucking hard. I could not figure out anything. I was on the island for an hour. I hadn't unlocked a single fucking thing. I'd figured out a few clues, and I'm like, but what do I do with this? I just Googled a fucking walkthrough. I was like, fuck it. I want to experience this game, but I don't want to spend 78 hours on a game that takes 5 hours to beat.
Or supposed to take 5 hours to beat.
What?
You can beat it in 3 hours, I think, if you have a walkthrough. But the idea is it takes forever. I saw on Steam a really funny artwork. It's the cover of the game, but instead of Myst, it says just what? And it's just like all the critics are like, what the fuck do I do? Where the fuck do I go? This game's so old and I still haven't beaten. What the fuck? Like,
okay. I get what you're saying. So when you first play through it, it's going to take a shit ton of time.
It's going to take your life.
Take your life.
Once you understand where to go, then it's quite simple.
Well, no, yeah, but after that, it kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, it's like a Where's Waldo?
Yeah, I guess. I could load it up now. So once you
find Waldo in each page, you're like, there's Waldo, there's Waldo. It's like,
like, can you imagine that? Like, I'm going to go replay Myst. That would be like going right back into a theater to see a mystery movie and be like, I wonder who it's going to be.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Once you've beaten this, you know, I could go in there and beat this in 3 hours now. I know all the fucking puzzles, even how ridiculous they are.
No, but it's like, again, it's like getting a Where's Waldo book and being like, I'm going to look for Waldo again. There he is.
You should go and play The Witness now, Chris.
I don't know. Is that one's supposed to be decent, right?
That's the straight up just crazy puzzle maze thing.
So this is is
that hard?
This is kind of reminding me of, I don't know why, it's reminding me of Heavy Rain almost, because it's
not even remotely the same thing.
No, I get that. Like, I mean, like the whole mystery part, but then it's like Heavy Rain has different endings, and
there's no mystery to Myst. It's just confusion.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a mystery. It's that they don't tell you what's happening. And then once you start figuring it out, you're like, okay, but why am I here again? Like the game is just you found a book and you opened it and it sucked you in and you fell into mist.
When you watch a mystery
That's-
movie, they leave you clues kind of hidden around for you to figure out. In Mist, they're like, I'm not fucking telling you anything. You figure it out.
Yeah, like they won't tell you anything. And then like when I went to the first tower, I was like, cool, I found a blue page and a red page, and I tried to pick them both up. But if I picked up the blue page, I no longer had the red page. If I picked up the red page, I no longer had the blue page. I'm like, well, which one do I get? And I took it back to the book, and the book's like, you gave me one of the pages. There's 4 pages in total. Don't let my brother out. Give me the blue pages. I'm in the blue book. Give them to me. Don't listen to my brother. Don't give it to him. So
okay.
next time I'm like, what happens if I take a red page to the other guy? And he's like, yes. Don't let my idiot brother get out of his book. Give me the red page. He's the one that did this. I'm the good guy.
How many endings does Mist have?
4.
Oh, okay.
You open the
Probably
red
3
book.
too
or
many.
You let the person out of the red book, you let the person out of the blue book, and then there's a third ending, which is horrible. You go to visit the dad, but you don't get the white page, so you're both stuck there forever. And then the fourth one is you get the white page, go to the dad instead, ignore the brothers, and go to the ending that makes no sense, because the whole game's like, get a blue page, get a red page. At the end, just kidding, get the white page, take it to the dad, ignore everything you did the whole game. What the fucking fuck? And there's 5 Mist games. There's 4 sequels to this game, and now I have to play them. Now
Are
I must
they-
No,
experience
you
them.
don't.
Are they just as rage-inducing? And
Oh, probably.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
If not more.
And you guys want to know the craziest thing? Actually, my last point on this: I didn't play this on PC. This is like the oldest PC game I know that's known for being this epic PC game. It was 99 cents on Switch, so I bought it on
Of
Switch.
course
and played
it
there.
was.
So I played there, but I did the controls where you actually had the free movement, not the click, because I was like, I'm just touch screening my fucking Switch. This is stupid.
And eventually it's going to be like, why won't it fucking do the thing? Start like angrily tapping that screen.
So this is the game I'm glad I experienced, because I remember being like 10, going to EB, always looking at the Mist box. I was like, the pictures are so pretty, because I'm looking at like Super Nintendo and then this, and it just looked like epic. It's like, look at that forest. What's happening? I'm so interested in this. So I'm glad I finally like experienced what 10-year-old me was always curious about. I will never fucking go back and play that game.
Is this
again.
what kids
Oh,
are like
God.
when they
Oh,
saw
God.
like
So-
the Order 1886 and we were all there playing Minecraft, being like, man, this is so much better than this piece of shit.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
No,
Oh,
just
fuck.
that line you just said was amazing. I finally experienced what 10-year-old me wanted to experience. So many things could have been said in that statement.
Yes, this is true. This is true.
Well,
Yeah,
speaking
10-year-old
of,
me hates me now.
Speaking of things that people are experiencing, hey Vish, what have you not experienced this week since it's your turn?
Yeah, so I haven't been gaming this week.
Bingo card
What
shit.
So what I have done, as a kid of the 80s, of the early 80s, I grew up as a Disney fan, loving Disney shows, loving Disney movies, and loving DuckTales.
Yes.
So I decided to give the DuckTales Reboot a chance.
You decided to get
It
them a
is
show. That was generous of you.
So good. It is so good. I'm 4 episodes
Yeah,
in.
I've heard really good things about
So good. So all the triplets, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, each have their own different personalities. It's not like they're all the same person. Like they each have their own different personalities.
I would hope not.
No, but like if you watch the OG show, like they're all pretty similar to one another.
Oh shit, it was the 80s. We were dumb as fuck and didn't care.
Yeah, I get that. But it's like this time it's like, oh my god, this is actually like they're all different. They're all like they each like you can actually pick a favorite besides the color this time. And like there's complex family relationships in the show as well. It's like it's actually very well done. The like the artwork looks pretty basic, but it works for it. Scrooge McDuck is like he's almost a shell of his past self, but he's reinventing and rediscovering himself because of the nephews, and it's awesome. The other thing I've done, which I'm probably going to stop for the time being, is another show. So Netflix just released Avatar: Legend of Korra, because I just, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, I finished Avatar: The Last Airbender, and again, for me, it was arguably one of the best shows in history, if not the best animated show ever made. And the problem is, though, is Netflix only released season 1 and 2 of 4 seasons. So I'm probably going to stop watching it for the time being because I don't want to get to a point where I have to wait or like find other methods to look for the rest of the seasons, because I wanted to watch it because it looks really cool. And again, the OG show, I don't know why it took me so long to watch it, because it was just so amazing. Like literally, like I watched, like after season 2 was over, I was like, what took me so long to watch this? So this one, it's a lot more complicated. This is more of like how the original show, the Avatar, came back after so many years to stop a war, where this one is like they found the new Avatar, and the Avatar is like almost like, hey, you're the Avatar. You're like it. Everyone's like, oh, okay, like finally you're here. Where the last one's like, is the Avatar gone? Like they weren't expecting. This one's like, oh, you're finally back. So it's I think it's so far I've really enjoyed it, but I think I'm probably, unless all these seasons come up, I'm probably not going to go any further because I don't want to disappoint myself. And also, one thing I'm really looking forward to right now is the finale of WandaVision that's coming up on Friday.
Me too.
Yep. And Adam's finally going to be able to watch and talk about it next week.
Next week? I'm not binging that shit that fast. Fuck.
Really?
I got games to play, yo.
Fair enough.
Games to play, yo.
But yeah, that's yeah. So I honestly, as I mentioned, I didn't have much. So Adam, what the fuck have you been doing?
It's not necessarily what I've been doing, it's what I'm about to do. So I'm about to do something stupid that might not go very well, but we'll see what happens. So
oh god, he's gonna stream porn.
No. we're not on OnlyFans. I thought we went through this.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to talk about the Outriders beta, but instead of showing some footage, why don't I just actually play the game on stream? So anybody listening to the audio version, if you ever wanted to see the stream, just go to youtube.com/csradical to see the VOD after it's done. But Outriders was a beta that I was not anticipating loving as much as I have, and it's to the point that it's so good that, like a lot of people, I'm grinding a beta because the demo is going to offer progression to be kept in this game. So for those who don't know about this game, Outriders is the next attempt that somebody's making to make a games as a service game to try and counter Destiny. And we've seen many come and gone. Hell, Anthem just got canceled, and they're officially on the way out.
Is this one more of a contemporary game, or is it like
what do you mean? I don't understand what that means.
Okay, so what I mean by contemporary, like it's taking place in modern times, or is it looking at more like a futuristic type
this
of
is
environment?
sci-fi shit. We're not even on Earth.
Yeah,
Okay,
this
so
is very.
I was going to
Okay,
tell
so-
you the story if you let me go, but I'll get to it.
Okay.
But yeah, they're trying to do what Destiny's doing, but they're trying to do this in third person, which is Anthem tried to do and didn't do a great job. Division tried to do, they were okay, but it wasn't amazing. And then Avengers tried to do, and we all know how that went. So
It got disassembled.
Outriders is made by the people, or the people of People Can Fly, who some people remember for Bulletstorm. They also did work on Gears of War. Gears of War Judgment was their one solo project that they did, but they did part of the original trilogy with Epic. Painkiller is like the original series that they were known for back on like PC days in like the early 2000s. So
Yeah,
this
I
is
remember
really
that
their
game.
first crack at like a real like new IP, because Bulletstorm technically was that, but it was also more of like a fun like just try thing. This one they're putting some real effort in, and it shows. Like, even though this thing is a little bit buggy, it's pretty damn good. So the game essentially is that what happens is Earth goes to shit. We don't even know why. It could be aliens, could just be the planet just eventually said, fuck you, I'm kicking you guys off. So eventually they realize they have to leave, so they find a planet that they think might be inhabitable. So they send a ship with a shit ton of cryopods, and you are what's known as an outrider, which is essentially a colonizer. You're out there to make sure that this place is somewhere that you can, send the rest of the cryopods down and start colonizing. And everything seems fine at first. Beautiful fucking landscape. The game starts off amazingly well. It's almost like what Mass Effect Andromeda should have been. Instead of coming to a planet that's fucked, you come to a planet that's about to be fucked, but you don't know yet. So you get there, everything's fine.
Fucking.
Sorry, what?
As long as there's fucking somewhere.
I mean, I don't know. Well, you might get fucked, depending on how underleveled you are in this game. That might happen. But you get there, everything seems fine, and then all of a sudden this storm comes across. And it ain't no lightning storm. This storm kills people instantly, but some people get superpowers from it. Why, we don't know at this point. For all we know, there could have been nuclear infested spiders in the storm. We don't know yet. But you get these powers, and that leads to the 4 classes that this game has. And I'm playing the one that I know Vish is going to like the most because I call it the Superman class. It's called Devastator. It's mostly it's a close combat, like you want to punch the shit out of stuff kind of stuff. So I got 3 abilities on this character right now. One of them is a straight shockwave, one of them is a bullet reflector, and another is basically a superhero jump and landing. So I'm going to go into an area
What about the shotgun?
Here. Yeah, I got a shotgun here too. So this game has been pretty good, at least in the sense of that the gameplay is solid. The loot is always the biggest things with the games as a service game, and the biggest part of it really is that the loot has to look interesting. It has to give you a reason to want to keep playing. The problem with Avengers, for example, is that you can get loot and it doesn't do anything. The loot doesn't change, it changes your stats, but it doesn't look any different than any other loot that you have. So it kind of defeats the purpose of everything. You get stuff, but you're just getting a stat upgrade. Whereas, at least very much like Destiny and like a lot of other games, there is a definite change. You are getting something out of it. So it's not just, hey, like, just get this thing and then, oh god, I fucked up. Oh, I'm about to die.
Okay, it still fucking baffles me that how badly they fucked up Avengers, because you had literally the easiest source material to market. The easiest.
Yeah,
and
they really shouldn't have been able to fuck that up, and they found a way to grossly fuck it up. I still can't believe they did that. It's pretty brutal. But no, okay, there we go. Finally got myself out of some trouble there. But yeah, I've really enjoyed every bit of it. Like, every mission that I've played, and they give you a pretty decent amount of stuff, too. They give you, like, a full introduction. Like, they give you the entire introductory level. And that includes all the story missions in it. It includes at least 4 side missions. And they give you, I think it's like a level 7 cap, and they give you a world tier cap of 5. Now, world tiers are what I really like about this game, as I'm getting shot by some random people. So normally in a video game, when they, you level up and they eventually stuff gets harder, but when they usually do things harder, there's something special to it. They'll either be like, oh, we're just going to make things more spongy. We're going to give him more health. We're going to give him like extra damage output. And maybe we'll put some modifiers in there like, oh, your shield's going to go away quicker, or this specific kind of damage does more damage. Like, they'll find some way in there to mix it up. This game just straight up goes, no. Every time you do a world tier, it just levels everything up 1. So world tier 1, which is the easy, it levels down everything by 2. World tier 2 only levels it up by or under 1. When you get to world tier 3, it's now dead even. So it's whatever the gated level is supposed to be, that's what you're walking into. As soon as you get to 4 onwards, all the way to, I believe, 20, it's just 1 extra level on every character. So by the time you hit 20, I think it's like 16 levels higher than the standard mission is. So it's not that they're making it to the point that like it's unfair. It's just straight up, it gets to a point where it's just really, really, really hard. It's not unfair. It's just they're making it to the point that like, no, if you want to get these really amazing rewards, you gotta fucking work for it. And I played from 1
I like
to 5.
that system.
1's easy, very easy, and it's supposed to be. It's basically your tutorial gate. And once I got to 5, which is where the cap is, I didn't feel necessarily like overly challenged. It was just enough that it's like, all right, I can't be a dumbass, but it's still manageable. And I'm doing it solo, by the way, not even with people, so I don't even know how that scales. So there's definitely a lot more to it, where down the road you could definitely have some crazy stuff going on if you're playing in like level 15 and just going with all this crazy shit going on, where it could be an absolute fucking shit show. And that I kind of look forward to down the road, and that's because I probably plan to get this at launch, or at the very least within the first week, just to see if there's like any major bugs that got missed or something like that. But for what they gave us, it's very generous to the point that I hope the demos do this consistently, because they gave us way more than they had any business giving us for a demo. Especially
How long did you play this
given that
demo
you can just
for?
keep playing. Like, people are just going nuts with this and still having fun with it.
How long have you been playing it for, the demo? Or how long did you play the
well,
first
I mean,
the
I've
first,
probably put maybe
round?
10, 15 hours into it, maybe. And each character, like, after I did the first character and got through all the cutscenes, you can pretty much do everything with a new character in about an hour or so. So it doesn't take too long to go through the entire demo after that. It's just if you want to see cutscenes or if you just want to do any extra grinding, then there's that. So... But, like, every class that they have are all really, really fun. Like, some of them are fun in different ways. Like, this one that I just showed you, like I said, it's Superman. It's fucking superhero jumps. You get to block bullets. You have stone armor that you can have. You just create shockwaves. There's other stuff. There's the Trickster class, which is the one they showed that had, like, time powers. So you can put up this shield, and it's anything that steps within that bubble is now, like, at half speed. So it's relatively easy to deal with. Aside from that... There's the Pyromancer, which I think is the best all-around class. That gives you the opportunity to do things like have walls of fire. You can do this thing where you can set like a charge on a guy, and if you kill him before like a certain timer, he'll blow up, and that damages anybody else around him.
So do you this game? It's a online like
It is solely online PvE. There's no competitive multiplayer.
There
it's
is
just
no
it's just
campaign or anything.
Well, no, it's all campaign. There's no like competitive. There's no deathmatch. It's just you or two other people with you. It's just single. It's single player with some multiplayer. It's really what it is. It's like they put a single player and just made it co-op. That's all it is. There's no deathmatch, capture the flag bullshit. They said nope. We're just focusing on the PvE, which means a lot more content, which is a good thing. Very good thing. Because apparently the end game has 14 unique missions after the game's over, which is quite a lot.
That is a lot. Holy shit.
And we don't even know what that means for things like raids or anything either. So.
Yeah, true. Last summer when we first saw this, I remember all of us watching this stream and everything for the announcement of this game. And we were talking about like, this is something the three of us should get. But then Avengers came out and obviously we were all worried about this one because, it's Square Enix. So Adam, would you say this is still a game you think the three of us should get and play together?
That would only depend on the commitment. I mean, you could still get a lot out of this game by just slowly going. Like, if we're playing it one day a week, I'll still play through it as much as I want. But I mean, I can still hang out with you guys and play with it. It wouldn't bother me none. It's just it depends on how much you want to get out of the game.
It's not a once a week play. It's you got to get more.
It depends. Like I said,
Destiny.
it depends on what you want. If you want to get a lot of good stuff, then you'll have to play a little bit more than like one day a week. But realistically, we could pop in, play a couple of missions, and be pretty happy with ourselves. Like, it'd be doable.
Okay.
It would depend. Like, I'd probably be playing this game a shit ton more, and I'd have all this awesome stuff, and you'd be like, I want that. That might be what happens.
Well, then play another 90 hours.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, for
because this looks like a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, it's in. I've seen I've been on the Reddit a lot recently just to see what other people are saying about it. I think this went way under the radar. I don't think people gave this any credit for being something interesting right now. I think they all expected this to be really some haphazardly put together thing by people just trying to capitalize on the games as a service model, because it's a moneymaker if you can get it to work, kind of. Because there's a lot of money to be made in a game that's constantly generating new content. So, but no, it seems like they've put a lot of thought into this.
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
are some serious issues they need to address, and I think that's stuff that they'll fix beforehand. The two biggest ones, the cutscenes don't fucking sync. The audio doesn't sync right. You'll fucking play the game, and the audio will be like 2 seconds behind. So like a cutscene will end, and the line of dialogue won't finish. It'll just be like you'll get spoiled of stuff before you even get to that point in the cutscene. You'll see the video, but you won't see them react to it for a couple more seconds, and it's just weird. So there's stuff like that where it's weird. Like, all right, you can fix that kind of stuff. There's also this weird thing they do in a lot of these cutscenes where there's like a shaky camera, almost like they were trying to make it like somebody was standing there watching you and you're seeing it through their eyes, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's also this weird little thing about how Resident Evil used to have the door opening whenever you do stuff. This game still does that to hide the loading screens, which is a little weird. But I mean, it's 2 seconds.
Is this on
it's not a big
PS5
deal.
or PC?
Oh, it's on everything. It's basically on everything that's not like Switch.
So does it would have the loading screens even on the PS5?
Yeah, there's loading screens regardless, but like they're very, very
Okay,
quick.
here we
Like,
go. Here they are.
Even massive. Well, that's not the same thing, but the door that just popped up. But no, like even like the major loading screens logging you in, like to log me into a game or go to a new map, it's seconds. It's not a big load screen, so it's not horrible.
Yeah.
It's just it's
Yeah, it's
weird
not that
when you
load
go to a
screens are
mission
on a
area and
way,
it just shows you
there's
opening the
seconds.
door, walking through the door, fade to black, and now you're in that area. It's weird, but it's not a game breaker. It's just more like, you guys could have done a little more. But this is a pretty big game for these guys to be taking on. So I'm gonna give them a little bit of breathing room here, but for what it is, like I said, I can't believe how much fun I've had playing this game. I went in thinking, all right, I'll play it, and I'll probably get a similar vibe to Avengers, where I'm like, this might not be that fun at the start. And then I played it and went, son of a bitch, this is a lot of fun to play.
Did you play a demo or anything for Avengers at all?
Yeah, that's why when I went and told you guys, don't play this is not looking good. Because I saw the loot, I saw the mission types, I saw the repetitive nature. It didn't look fun. At least with this, it can be repetitive, but the powers are pretty fucking fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fun to as a trickster to I have a power that teleports me behind a guy that I select, and I have a temporal blade, which is a spectral blade that shows everybody's skeletons as they slowly get sliced in half, and it's the most badass shit, and it doesn't get old. And especially if you can chain multiple enemies. If you can go behind somebody and get 3 of these fuckers to slice, you're like, oh, I'm so happy with myself. And so far, like, I don't know if I don't think I mentioned it yet. I'm actually impressed even the voice acting's kind of good. Like, I actually listened to the first, like, little bit of the tutorial missions, and I'm like, wow, like, there's some general, like, camaraderie in this. And then it all goes to shit, but the voice acting still kept together pretty well. The only complaint that I honestly have is just that, I want more. That's it. I want this game to be out so I can play more.
When is it?
Yeah.
Do we know?
I think it's the 1st of
remember.
April, I think it is.
April, yeah.
Which is going to be interesting
this
because
looks like
it might be a good filler game when I'm waiting to see if Mass Effect Legendary Edition ends up being, not a mess.
Oh yes.
Or delayed.
No, I don't think that'll be. It's a fucking remaster. They better not be delaying that. That'd be pretty pathetic.
Yeah, just don't announce it at that point because it was only announced like quite recently.
I can see it being delayed. Like literally everything right now that has a release date, I think everything that has a release date should just say TBA.
I mean, you could do that, but then every fan in the world would be fucking miserable because they think nothing's coming out.
Yeah.
You gotta at least give
the,
people hope.
The fans can fucking cry all they want. The fans will fucking
You, the
knuckle
person
under.
who talks about marketing and PR all the time, the fans can cry all they want? Really? You don't
Yes, because the thing is, you can say what you want. The fans will always come back. The second Black Widow...
That didn't go very well for Avengers.
Yeah, because the game itself was garbage.
Well, the PR was still good.
Maybe, but the thing is, like, I'm just saying, for example, if they all of a sudden be like, you know what, Black Widow's release date is TBA. And then 1 month before they said Black Widow's coming out in February 2022. It is going to generate $1 billion in the first fucking
No shit, because it's Marvel. They have a track record. I'm talking
I'm
about a game,
aware
I'm
of
talking
that,
about a
but
game
I'm
that has
saying-
no track record behind it. You need the good PR.
No, with Mass Effect, it has a pretty solid fan base. Am I
Not
wrong,
right now,
or-
it doesn't.
It
Yeah,
doesn't?
a lot
Okay.
of them. Mass Effect 4 or whatever the fuck that one is.
Andromeda
that
pissed
one,
a lot of people off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's okay. So maybe Mass Effect doesn't have the proven track record that the MCU does.
Not right now, it certainly doesn't. When
Okay.
Andromeda came out, they could have delayed it as much as they wanted and people wouldn't have cared because they're like, oh no, it's fine. They probably should have delayed it, by the way.
No. Well, it's like,
Sounds like they should have.
It's like Miyamoto says, it's better to delay a game and make it good than to release the game early and it's shit. Not those exact words, but
Well, there are some games that
I
would be
don't
shit
think he said it
regardless.
like that, but
Yeah, that would be amazing if Miyamoto in all his wisdom was like, yeah, just don't release a shit game.
God,
the thing is,
that guy
this guy is the
a legend.
godfather of gaming. So he could say all he wants. And we'd be like, yeah, you got a point, bro. My overlord.
I mean,
My overlord.
one of these days there's gonna be a story that comes out about how much of an asshole he actually is, and it's gonna hurt everybody's feelings.
But then and the next day, a new Mario game is coming. He's like, yes.
Without him.
That's the other thing too. Like,
No.
how's everything gonna feel
no.
like when Miyamoto's finally like not in the industry anymore? Whether it's retired,
Yeah, when he
or, like,
retires, because
passes
it's got to
away,
be
right?
close. It's going to be close to his retirement. It has to be.
It is. So sometimes, fuck. I don't know how to go upon this actually.
Yeah, it's
really
a
don't.
question I generally don't want to think about at this point because things are good right now. Let's try to keep any positivity we can these days.
Miyamoto will be immortal, live forever, and never retire.
I mean,
Wow,
if there was
actually,
anybody
that's
in the
hell.
industry we wish could be that would be the one.
Oh yeah, for sure. Man, imagine that. Never dying, but you have to work forever. Oh,
If it's here's the thing. If it's a call center job, you're in hell. If it's a job like you're a video game developer, not so bad.
Nah, you're still in hell from what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
yeah, I think it depends on the games, the crunch, where you work. Now, Nintendo is. I mean, there hasn't been any bad stories that I know.
Yeah.
of,
Well, yeah, but
so-
Japan is known for overworking anyway, so there's
Yeah,
probably
like-
that.
Yeah, everyone's just like, why is the rest of the
Well,
world complaining
actually,
so much?
Japan. You were mentioning Japan is one of the countries that's adapting the.
No, they're not
4-day,
adapting it. They're
34-hour
considering
workweek.
it. I know it's just the 4-day weekend. They're not doing it yet. They're considering the idea,
Yeah.
which is more than
hope
I'd
they do.
expect them. I don't know if they'll do it, but I'm surprised that they're even thinking about it.
There still has to be 60 hours a week, but now you have to do it in 4 days.
Yeah, that'll be what happens.
Oh fuck.
You live
I
at
hope you
work
guys
now.
like 15-hour shifts.
Here's your bed and here's your desk. These are the only two places you will go. Good night.
This is your home for Monday to Thursday. Fucking get to work.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Fuck.
But let's move on to something else not depressing, which is State of Play. So
Oh, yeah.
a lot of stuff that was going on there. It was an interesting thing. I know a lot of people were salty because, you know, Uncharted 5 and God of War and Horizon 2 and all these other things weren't announced at a State of Play, which never happens, by the way. It's not like we've had plenty of State of Plays now to realize that that's not what happens on these. But
Yeah,
it wasn't a bad State of Play.
No, it wasn't bad at all. State of Play, even a lot of the Nintendo Directs, like they're meant to be like the trailers that you see before you go to the movies. Like you might see something cool and epic, or you might see some stuff you've already heard about, and it's not going to be a new announcement. kind of stuff.
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance this week to watch the State of Play, but I know Crash for PS5 got announced. Well, Crash 4 a PS5 port
Yeah.
got announced.
Yeah, the
I mean,
PS5 edition.
The biggest ones that we really got, like most of it was just trailers for stuff we already knew about. I mean, they announced a couple of games like Sifu, and which was like this weird kung fu thing.
Yeah.
Solar Ash looked kind of cool. Five Nights at Freddy's, Security Breach. Most of it was just stuff that we've already seen. Like we got a little bit more of Deathloop. We got another trailer for that dodgeball like Fortnite kind of thing called Knockout City. We got more of that.
Oh, yeah,
Like you said-
that game looks fun as shit.
Like you said too, Crash Bandicoot. We got more Oddworld. We got a bit of Returnal, which now that I saw the gameplay for Returnal, that looks interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of curious about Returnal now.
Can you post the trailer?
Me too.
It might come up at some point in this thing. I'm just literally got the State of Play running, so I don't feel like going through 10 different trailers. It's gonna be a nightmare. It basically feel like you guys remember games like Phalanx or Ikaruga, where it's like those crazy like ship games where it's just a shit ton of like bullets you're trying to dodge on the map, like bullet hell games.
Yeah.
It looks like Returnal is a third-person shooter that uses that concept of just all these massive like orbs that you got to dodge.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that Returnal looks stressful.
Oh, here we go. Returnal's going to pop up now on the State of Play trailer, so there we go. But yeah, I didn't really think much of Returnal, and then seeing this trailer, I went, you know what? I still won't get it anytime soon, but if they put it on for $20, or if it was free at some point on PS5 or PlayStation Plus,
Is
I'd
this the
take a look
dodgeball
at
game?
it. No, this is
Yeah.
This is the third person, like a weird, like Ikaruga sort of thing. Because it's made by the guys that are used to doing bullet hell games, so it's kind of interesting in that way. It's really fast and fluent. It looks like it could be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's just I know I'm gonna die
Yeah.
a lot playing that if I end up playing that.
Yes.
Oh, very much
Yes.
so. This is like.
But I think you're supposed to.
Oh yeah,
Or,
no,
like-
it's not a game over game. It's you just constantly just have to get further and further as you go along.
Yeah, the game's just like get good. Even the
but
person in the fucking demo just died.
really, the two that stood out in this though was obviously Ken a Bridge of Spirits. We got a proper gameplay trailer for
Yes.
it now, and a release date. It's coming out in August, which is sooner than I thought. Not to mention, it's only going to be $40, which is another surprise.
Oh wow, yeah.
Which tells me two
That is a
things:
surprise.
one, the game is either going to be short, or two, they're trying something different. Because I mean, we've seen recently how they've just put games out there for free on PlayStation Plus at launch. We saw that with Destruction All-Stars and Bug Snacks. The new one that's out in this month, I think it's called Mac Cat or something like that. It's like a puzzle game. That one just got launched and it got put out for free. So it seems like Sony's trying this thing where a couple of games they're going to be like, hey, let's just give this one to you guys and let you guys enjoy it, and then we'll figure out ways to make money otherwise. This Kenna is either going to be a really short game, or Sony's looking at it being like, you know what? Why don't we pop this one a little bit cheaper, get everybody to make sure they get this game? Because, I mean, it looks like a fucking Pixar movie. Everybody's really interested in this game.
I'm very interested in that game. It's like my second highest hype game
Sorry,
from
what?
the state of play.
What's this one called?
Kenna Bridge of Spirits was the one that, I don't know if you remember when we were like way back watching the PlayStation trailer. It was the one that legitimately looked like it was going to be a Pixar movie. The way the graphics looked in that trailer. It was incredible.
I don't remember that one.
But it's curious. Like every time I see the trailer, I'm thinking, man, this could be really cool. But why are they putting it so cheap? Which makes me think, like I said, either it's really short, or I mean, maybe they think it's not going to be
Is
that.
this
I don't
it?
know what it is. No, it's not. I if it comes up, I'll tell you. But like,
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, this
Come
is
on.
not Ghost
Stay on
City.
topic. Realistically, though, like everything that they showed was fine. Like
Oh, this is the
Nintendo
dodgeball
dragged. Nintendo dragged a lot when they did theirs. So it was nice that this was like 30 minutes basically, and it was just trailer, done. Just get in and get out. Obviously, the big thing for everybody, though, and for me and Chris especially, was Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, aka the PS5 upgrade, aka Yuffie DLC. Holy shit.
Yes. Yeah. I wasn't
Does it
expecting the
add
Yuffie
significantly
DLC.
to the story?
What, this DLC they're doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know the story still because I'm trying not to, because I know that it's not remotely like the original anymore. I'm trying not to spoil myself.
It's
'Cause
all
here's
original
the thing.
story.
Yuffie is in Midgar in this game, and that never happens in the original. So you know that everything's fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, she
Okay.
could have been there in the original.
They could
'Cause you
swing
just
it that
find her
way,
in a
but let's
in a
be honest,
forest.
she wasn't.
No, she wasn't.
Like,
So-
Yeah,
for myself, when I stopped playing Final Fantasy VII, I got to the point where Cloud was talking about his history with Sephiroth. And that's where I stopped playing the game, because that's when I got my PS2. So,
Is that Niflheim or whatever
I
it's
couldn't
called?
even
Like
tell
right?
you. at
Oh
that
no,
point.
sorry.
There's a lot of
It's like
times where
right
he talks
at-
about Sephiroth.
That's
no,
right
there-
out of Midgard.
At this point, like, it was such a long scene that during this,
It's
this
probably the
cutscene-
Niflheim thing where there was like that weird camera angle in the library sort of thing.
Yeah,
It might be,
yeah, I
but
think it was that.
it was such a long cutscene or dialogue scene. There was a save state within it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That sounds
So
like Final
that-
Fantasy in the old days.
What's this game?
Oh yeah.
That is Sifu. That is the Kung Fu.
This is Sifu.
Anybody listening to the audio version is being like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, Sifu's on the screen. Yeah, the Yuffie in the DLC, I was not expecting there, first of all, to be any DLC for the game. Somehow I hadn't even thought of that, because it's already like a part 1, part 2, part 3.
It
or
tells
whatever
me
it's
that they
gonna
must be a little bit behind on development. And they figured, okay, let's do something else on the side just to kind of give them something.
Oh yeah, like the full Final Fantasy VII remake experience, you won't be able to play it all until like 2026 or some shit. Like it's going to be forever.
Well, they straight up said that the next one's going to be specifically designed for PS5, so it sounds like the next one, I really hope they don't do this because that's going to be really douchey, but it seems like the next part of it might just be PS5.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cruel, because, I mean, if you've played it on one console, I mean, granted, if this thing doesn't come out for like 3-4 years, I don't know what to tell you at that point, but...
Yeah, at that point, it only should be on PS5, because then they're holding it back for
Yeah.
a console that's
But granted, this is
4
the
years
problem
later.
that I brought up way back when they said they were going to do this in parts, where I said, guys, this is not going to go over well because people already know what happens. Now, granted, I didn't know ahead of time that they were going to completely rewrite the story from what it sounds like, but, you know, for anybody who's already played the series, and I said this too, like, there's a reason why it's free right now, and I still have no intention of playing it because I'd rather, A, wait for the upgrade, and B, wait for the fucking other half of it. Because why the hell do I want to play a piece of something that I already know like 90% of what's going to happen to?
Yeah.
Like I can't
Yeah, I don't
imagine.
know.
I can't imagine like Final Fantasy X coming out and being like, "Oh, we're going to go all the way up to the Calmlands and then that's it." It's like, but I know what happened. Just give me the rest of my game. It's just dumb. So like when they did that, and I get why, because they expanded on so much more. But like, and it just. You could have just done like a simplified version, but then again, once I play the actual first part of the remake, maybe I'll have a different answer to all that. But
A lot of people have like nothing but good things to say about the remake,
Yeah.
so
I'm not gonna be that upset about it now.
yeah. I can't wait to play it. But now, because of State of Play, I am not playing it until for sure in June when they get the upgrade, because I have the PS4 version, but now that I know the upgraded version's coming, there's no way in hell.
Yeah,
I'm going to
because the
play it.
upgrade version is not going to be free if you get the free copy, and then if you want the DLC, it's only on the PS5 version. So you pretty much need the PS5 version if you want everything.
Okay, so the upgrade will
Yeah.
it include like the full game completely?
Like
as
if
one?
you bought a copy of the original on PS4, you'll get a free upgrade to the remake, but you don't get the DLC because the DLC is DLC.
Okay.
It's just a
But
free
it's
upgrade to 4K 60 frames. That's really what it is.
It's the entire game, not just part one, correct?
No, it's just part one. You're only getting the
Yeah, it's just
upgrade to
part
the
one.
one
Part
game that
two's
exists.
like not even.
Vish, the other part
I
doesn't
think
exist.
they've only just started it.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, part 2 of Final Fantasy VII isn't coming out for probably. My guess is 2 years.
It'll come out when Half-Life 3 comes out.
Oh, so never. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really fucking annoying.
Yeah, like they're big games that they're developing, and then they'll put out the one, and I
What's
guess they
crazy
start on
when
the
you think
second.
about it, like Square has this that they need to work on, but they also have 16 that they're working on. They're doing new DLC for 14. They're probably working on some other small stuff and Project Athia. So it's like, holy shit, these guys need to fucking either like triple their employees or do something. Damn, they got a lot of shit to get done.
Yeah, that's a lot. And I guess they're just hoping like it'll overlap, so every year or two there's a game that comes out and makes them enough money to cover them for that year or two.
Well, I think they were hoping Avengers to do that, but
Yeah. Because like if you think about it, Final Fantasy VII Remake came out last April.
To quote our friend Adam Trump, wrong.
It came out last April. They're now releasing it on PS5, but basically encouraging people like, hey, rebuy this game, even though it's a year old. Now buy this version. So all the people who didn't buy it are now going to buy it, including DLC. And they'll, they could, I don't know what they could add. No, I guess this would possibly just delay it, that they could have something for the year after for Final Fantasy VII. And then again, do like a better updated Ultimate Edition come out the next year or something like that. But as I say it, there's no way they're going to keep to that schedule.
who knows? I mean, you never know.
yeah.
Square doesn't know what they're doing half the time. They kind of make it up as they go along. I mean, look at the titles for half the stuff they made. The fucking upgrade is called Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade because reasons.
Yeah, integrate. Yeah, they just love their fucking fancy ass words. That's all it is. That's all it is. Also, in April, it's no longer a PlayStation exclusive game, and who knows what they'll release it on, and then make all the money from that too, whether it's
That is
PC
also
And
or
then
Xbox or who knows.
in 2023, Final Fantasy Madden.
Yeah, that's
Blitzball
just
first.
Sponsored by Madden.
No, please God, no. I'm not gonna lie. If Final Fantasy has Madden sponsorships in it, I might actually kill myself. Like unironically,
Wow.
because that might be the end of days right there.
Yeah, true.
Adam, please find better things to live for than Final Fantasy being sponsored by Madden.
No. Have you seen the world that we live in, Vish? There's not much else to live for these
Yeah,
days.
there's nothing else going on. Yeah.
I'm actually picturing it right now. Final Fantasy has been purchased by EA and will be a Madden property.
There, because we're about to move on to the story, I'm putting on Yuffie because I need to at least make myself smile a little bit. That's all I can do.
Yeah, once I saw her in the trailer, I was like, wait a minute, how the hell is she in this part?
And how the hell, after all these years, has she still forgotten to fucking do the button up on her shorts?
Yeah, how dare she?
It's still undone. God damn it, bitch. Just put the button on.
Oh my god, like, why is that?
It's one of the weird choices that they make, though, because you know it's literally there just for sexual purposes, but it's like, why does she... Why is her fly not done up? What is going on here?
Come on! Like, if her fly
But that was a huge thing in the 90s.
Well, no, the huge thing in the 90s was like having 15 belts on your costume.
If her...
I don't know about that. I don't know what was up with that.
No, you're right. It's 25 belts now.
I find it so offensive that if her pants or her skirt is buttoned up that much, why is it even on? Like, just fucking remove it.
Oh, man, I kind of hope that they patch it in now that they button it up, because I want to see every fucking, like, crybaby boy get all mad about it. Because, like, oh, they're trying to desexualize her games! Because, you know, I still remember when they got mad because they changed Jill Valentine in Resident Evil 3 that it wasn't a skirt anymore, it was shorts. I'm like, oh no.
And okay, you know what? As a hardcore Resident Evil fan, first of all, fuck you guys. And second of all, sometimes those shorts are hotter than the skirt.
Well, not to mention she looked more badass in it now. It looked like she actually was going to kick some ass, not have somebody stare at her ass.
And also, it makes no. She can do both in those shorts. And also, it's just like it makes more sense for her to be in shorts. Like,
yeah,
the
you're
way
a fucking police officer. You might want to have something that's good to move in.
Like it's just like, guys, like, this is like Emily Ratajkowski. You guys know her, right?
Yes.
The super hot. Okay, so she's a whole thing about like that. She's advocating for women's right to sexuality, which honestly makes sense. It's like, why can't a woman look sexy and sexual without being judged upon? And this is the same thing that's going on. This is what's going on right now. It's like, why, like, Jill looks just as hot in shorts as she does in the skirt. But frankly, the shorts are more practical. So you whiny little bitches, shut the fuck
Look,
up.
I'm just saying, if you got the PC version, just get the nude mod, because clearly that's going to be the most comforting, because there's nothing stopping you at that point.
Chris,
the thing bothering me with all of this, is I'm pretty sure she was actually wearing pants in the game. Which is fine. I'm more upset we're saying shorts when I think it's pants.
No, it's definitely shorts, because I've seen the designs.
Yeah. And also, you and I split on the game, so yeah.
Oh, Resident Evil. Wait, 2 or 3?
I'm talking the 3 remake.
3. That's Jill Valentine. Number 2 is Claire Redfield.
I thought she was in pants and a tank top.
No, you're probably thinking, you could be thinking of Rebecca Chambers now that I think about it.
Okay, so Jill is wearing a tank top in 3, but in OG Resident Evil 3 in the 90s,
it was like a blue skirt or something, wasn't it?
She was wearing a skirt. And you're right, a tube top and a skirt. Yeah. Where in the remake she is wearing shorts and a tank top, which
like normal clothes.
Yeah, which is frankly more practical. Even though I fucking love tube tops, that's like one of my weaknesses besides bikinis. It makes more sense.
I love how this podcast is just turning into let's talk about boobs.
Yeah.
Speaking of boobs, what else you got to say, Vishal? Ha!
No. It makes more sense that she's wearing a tube top and shorts as opposed to...
You mean a tank top and shorts?
Okay.
He's already now he's thinking about tube tops. We might have to move on from this because we might lose Vish if we keep him in this area too long.
No. Listen, Tadum. We have to.
Tadum?
I don't know what we're doing here, and now I'm really confused. Now I really want to move on. I don't like where this is going.
All I'm saying is it makes more sense in the game that she is wearing a tank top and shorts as opposed to a tube top and a skirt. While I wish she was wearing the tube top and the skirt, I understand why, for functionality reasons, that they went the other way. And also, she is fucking awesome in that game. She is really what honestly made that game, like despite the shortness of it, what made that game awesome.
Oh my god, you're never gonna shut up about the shortness.
No, I am not.
Oh, fantastic.
This is one of the dumbest
I mean,
tangents
I hope
think
she
we've ever
made the
gone
game.
on. And
She's
it's
the
all
only
because
character in
Yuffie
it.
can't fucking button up her shorts. That's all that happened.
She's keeping the 90s look alive. It's okay.
Well, I mean,
Just
yeah,
don't
it's
wear the
definitely
fucking-
okay. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's one of those things where it's like, look, you're supposed to be a ninja. She should probably do those up.
Yes.
She's
as
not a
ninja,
great
it would
ninja
make-
though, let's be honest.
This is also true. Also true.
Judo chop.
So let's move on to other dumb shit, like the fact that if you own a stock PS4, and that's not even the first story. I mixed up my order. Oops. Actually,
God damn it, Adam.
Let's talk about that one.
If you own a stock PS4, you might still get to enjoy Dragon Age 4, and it just won't be multiplayer, because apparently the original plan was to add multiplayer components to it, and because Anthem failed so exponentially, EA apparently went to BioWare and said, all right, you know what, guys? Jedi Fallen Order did really well, and it was just single player. Why don't you guys focus on that, and let's try to make some money back? And BioWare was like, okay, we can do that.
Yeah. BioWare, do the thing you're actually good at already. Please. Thank you.
It's like, BioWare, please make something good. Please, 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 please.
Yeah, like it's already a tried and true formula, and I mean that's what made Dragon Age so good. It's like a giant RPG. Sure, you could add the odd like online component, but it's supposed to be mostly a single player experience.
And I mean, realistically,
be
the
that.
story isn't really a story. Like, realistically, I'm only interested in this just because I want to say the same thing I've been saying for a long time. To any executive in the games industry that thinks that single player gaming was dying is fucking idiotic. Look how much money Jedi Fallen Order, Doom, Horizon, God of War, Last of Us, Spider-Man, how much money those games have fucking made? How much money did Avengers make? How much money did Anthem make? How much money did Fallout fucking 76 make? You tell me.
Again,
Oh.
I will say that Avengers had the potential to be the next Grand
All of
Theft
them
Auto
had the
5.
potential to make money, but because you make games for
Avengers in
multiplayer, you are
particular
far more
really
likely
did.
to go greedy in multiplayer because that's where you can sell skins and loot boxes. Whereas with single player RPGs, it's really hard to justify loot boxes because you're supposed to just play the game by getting stronger, not rolling dice.
Yeah.
So it really just
absolutely.
comes down to like it proved everybody's point when we all said that single player gaming is not only not dying, but has always been the prevalent form. It just happened to be that there was a stretch that Call of Duty was the fucking biggest thing because it was new and fresh and people were really into that shit. But if you put out a really solid single player game, like the Mass Effect series was at that same time, as well as Dragon Age, it makes you a shit ton of money still. And if all the games that we love right now were made in the same era that Call of Duty Modern Warfare was just starting its heyday, it still would have made just as much money. If not more, because that everybody was vibing real heavy for stuff at that time. It would have done some damn good numbers too.
So what is bothering me about this whole thing about like how single player games are dying? It's what it is. It's not that single player game is dying. Is that good story and engaging stories are dying. Like a lot of games are not putting in a story that is keeping people hooked on, that is keeping people locked in.
If we're talking AAA, I 100% agree. Yeah, because it's pure greed. They're more worried about getting more money out of you than they are actually giving you a quality story.
So, for example, I would say Heavy Rain. That story in that game kept me so hooked that when I found out the major reveal, I actually had chills down my spine. And
I mean, I would expect that from a game like Heavy Rain, though, because its game is literally predicated on being a good story. If it doesn't have a good story, there's nothing to it because it's a walking sim.
No, I get that. But so for example,
Quick time event.
When I found out that who the origami killer was, and you were playing as him the entire time, like I was frozen. I was like, "Holy fuck!" it's one thing that you discover that one of your allies is actually the villain, but it was never done where you were actually playing as him the entire time. And you were actually finding ways to help him. You were helping him. You were being him. And it was just so fucked up that I just was like, wait, what just happened?
Well, I
Like,
mean, in
it-
general,
it-
like just going back to single player games as a whole when it comes to story. I mean, the biggest thing that honestly is holding a lot of games back now isn't even the greed. Honestly, you notice now that game development is a fucking mess now for whatever reason it might be. It might be that companies are too big. It's because they're outsourcing to different studios. It's not just one studio working on stuff. Guys aren't. It's not one person with a creative vision. It's like a team of like 10 different people in a room. So the industry has kind of gotten so big that now there's so many hands in the kitchen that it's really hard to nail something down. Not every game is going to have the story that The Last of Us can pull off anymore because there's too many cooks. And not to mention, you know, after that, like once you get to most average games in terms of storytelling, then you get bogged down by companies being like, well, we got to get more of this stuff in because that's really popular right now. Like they'll demand mechanics get put into games. They'll demand that, oh, we got to make some more money. So you got to make sure you're locking stuff behind so you can microtransaction that later. You got to find more ways to do some loot boxing in there. Like there's so many things that prevent games from really getting their full potential now. And a large part of it, which is why I'm glad that Dragon Age is now strictly going to be a single player RPG, is that for so long, every game had to have competitive multiplayer. Uncharted did not need it. Last of Us was supposed to get one, I think, unless they did get one, and they don't need it. Mass Effect got one in Mass Effect 3, and it wasn't necessary. It was a horde mode. It wasn't competitive multiplayer, but it didn't need to be there. And the problem with that is that it takes necessary space that the single player could have benefited from.
So that's the thing. It's like The Last of Us, the multiplayer in that, it doesn't make sense to me because that was such a story-driven game. Like the gameplay is actually pretty basic. The Last of Us 2, the gameplay is actually significantly more complex. But The Last of Us, like the gameplay is pretty basic, and the multiplayer option in it doesn't make any sense to me.
Like Metal Gear Solid 5 had a multiplayer. Why?
I don't fucking know.
And that's the problem. Is like there are games that could be so much better than they already are. Like we're not saying The Last of Us wasn't great. We're not saying Uncharted wasn't great. We're not saying Metal Gear wasn't great. But man, how much better could they have been if just that extra like few months that were being wasted on multiplayer that just got tacked on? If they could have done more polish, added more content, like maybe another level, maybe some more like some better texture work, like anything that could have made it just that much more engaging and that more immersive.
You know what's crazy about all this? Hearing all this, I'm thinking of all the games that had multiplayer thrown in and it was horrible. But then somehow I think of Grand Theft Auto 5, which is known as an epic single player. It still was. But they added Grand Theft Auto Online, and it's like one of the best online services ever.
And then
No,
Grand Theft
Grand
Auto
Theft
6 is going to
Auto.
come out and there will be no single player.
Grand
and
Theft
that's the thing.
Auto 5 was like known to be the ultimate multiplayer experience.
It's one of the very few games that have managed to do both. It really is.
Yeah,
very,
it's like
very,
lightning
very
in a
few
bottle.
times has that happened. And one of the very few times that it did happen was purely by accident, which was Goldeneye. Goldeneye was literally... The developers didn't know that it was being put in the game. Like, it was just a few people working on it, and the people up top didn't have a fucking clue. It just got put in.
Goldeneye was the first to do it. Like, Goldeneye, like, that's one reason why Goldeneye, in my opinion, is known to be such a staple in gaming, because Goldeneye was the first one to actually utilize and optimize the multiplayer gaming aspect.
And it's so ironic that it was purely accidental. They didn't even intend to finish the game like that. It was something fun to work on, and it just happened to get added in.
So let's just say if Goldeneye didn't have the multiplayer option, would it have the strong legacy that it has now?
Goldeneye?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think it would. No. It would be still a good game. And
It would
people
still
look
be
back on
decent, but it wouldn't be like legendary.
Yeah, because like when people talk about like high school and Adam, since you're like 5 years younger than us, middle school gaming, like everyone, like one of the top 3 games they'll talk about is GoldenEye, because of the whole situation of like you could be anywhere. If someone has an N64, everyone's all playing GoldenEye.
Yeah, you really think about it. At one point, you probably heard more people talking about GoldenEye as the de facto game for a console, a Nintendo console, and it wasn't a Mario or a Zelda game.
Yeah.
There was a large segment of the population that could give a fuck less about Mario 64 or Mario Kart or Ocarina of Time. They just wanted to play GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare. But yeah, just to finish off here, like this story really means nothing. It's just more like okay, maybe Dragon Age 4 won't suck so much now. But still, it just brings back that thing of like, I can't say I didn't tell everybody a long time ago that single player games are always going to be better, because it's easier to get lost in a game when it's just you instead of being in a lobby where it's a bunch of 15-year-olds screaming every curse word they've ever learned at the same time.
And I can teach them some new ones.
Well, we always make some up as we go along, too. But speaking of Call of Duty, since it still kind of falls into play, this is what I meant to start off with, and I mixed up my tabs. So if you want to play Call of Duty games on a standard PS4, you can't fit all 3 games pretty soon. You can't fit Warzone, Cold War, and Modern Warfare all in the same thing, because the updates are getting so ridiculously big that you might not be able to fit those 3 games on anymore, because Warzone is just stupid gigantic.
I think it's Warzone that's
Warzone's current update that is going
gigs.
live is 17 gigabytes for a fucking update.
Yeah, because I think the whole game itself as an install is like 250 gigs or something ridiculous.
It's insane.
That's so stupid. It doesn't make sense. Like, what the fuck is the size of this game? Is it the maps? Is it the textures? What is it?
Apparently, I've read about it. Apparently, they just did no audio compression. So every audio clip that's in that game is lossless, uncompressed audio.
I mean, good for quality, bad for the actual game.
Oh, it's not even quality. I guarantee you it's not even the quality. They just got lazy. I guarantee you it's laziness.
Yeah.
But like in general, there really isn't much of a story to this. It's just like the conversation that everybody went with the PS5 initially when they saw the size of it. It's like, what the hell? It's not going to be enough room for everything. Yes, it will be. The problem is there are some companies like Activision that are so horribly, like, just not compressing their shit and making these games way bigger than they ever should be. No game at this point, like, I don't care how amazing Kenna looks or Horizon 2 or God of War Ragnarok when it comes out. No game should be hitting 100 gigabytes.
No.
It's just ridiculous. We're at that point that we should be able to figure out how to compress it just enough that it's not taking up like literally a quarter of a hard drive.
Yeah.
But Activision's like, hold my beer. I think their goal at this point is to make Warzone literally take up an entire hard drive on its own. I feel like that's their goal.
I think that's what they want. Yeah,
because if you want to play Warzone, it's the only game you can play.
If you can release Red Dead Redemption 2 and it's like 1/3
again,
the size of this.
I know we talked about earlier. I still don't understand why Call of Duty hasn't released a Call of Duty Zombies game.
I mean, like I said, and we said it in the Discord, I'll make it pretty simple to you. Activision wants to make money. Call of Duty Zombies does not make as much money as Call of Duty Zombies with competitive multiplayer COD.
Yeah, you need both.
They would never release a $20, $30. Well, actually, they would never charge you $20, $30. They'd still make it an $80 game because people would buy it. They would never do that because they know that their bread and butter is always going to be with Team Deathmatch and whatever else they put out. So they're just like, they honestly did not want to do campaigns anymore, but because enough people bitched, they had to start doing them again. If they had their way, there'd be no campaigns. And I guarantee you, if they had their way, there'd be no zombies either.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
You want to talk about seeing people have emotional breakdowns? The first Call of Duty game that doesn't have a zombies mode in it is going to make Vish like fucking just destroy himself.
I haven't bought a Call of Duty game since what's the future one? The one with Jon Snow in it.
Oh,
yeah.
Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, I haven't bought a Call of Duty game since that.
So then why do you care about Call of Duty Zombies, bro?
No, wrong. I bought Call of Duty World War II, I think.
Yes, that one was later.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the last time because I'm just like, it's cut and paste.
Oh no! With the way these maps are designed now, it's no longer cut and paste. They do some funky shit with that stuff. Honestly, like People treat when Call of Duty Zombies gets a new map the same way that Destiny fans will go nuts when a new raid happens. Like, it's everybody trying to figure out if they can find all the secrets first. That's literally what Zombies is now.
Yeah.
It's still fun, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
Either
like,
way, Activision, holy shit. Stop making games so fucking huge. Jesus Christ.
Like,
17
there
gigs?
was- like, I'm not a big Call of Duty fan, but there was one day that for like 5 hours straight, like, I was bored. I just went on Zombies just on myself just because it was just fun.
God forbid games be fun, right?
Yeah. It
That's,
happens once in a while.
We're done with fun. We're definitely done with fun.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Because this made a lot of people angry, and I don't know why.
This made people angry?
Yep. Well, it makes anything makes people angry.
Oh,
So,
right, okay.
in response essentially to what J.K. Rowling has done, for those who somehow are living under a rock, apparently J.K. Rowling is a real transphobic piece of shit. So, the game has nothing to do with her. They're trying to distance themselves from her as much as they can, and by doing so, they figure, well, let's make Harry Potter the RPG we're making on. Let's make Hogwarts Legacy at least to, like, have some transgender inclusion, just as a big middle fucking finger. And this should be a non-story. It should just be a cool, more choices. But naturally, the internet does what it does, and you get the flood of people being like, "What's the matter? If don't trans women just want to be women? Can't they just play as women?" That's not the point, guys. Because the idea with the options is that it's making it so that there's no limitation. Like, it's not limiting the male or female voice to just the male or female model. It's not limiting the male or female outfits to just the male or female model. So they're basically making it that you can just do whatever the fuck you want. Which, as a gamer, makes me go, that's fucking cool. Now I can do literally whatever I want to fucking do. It's when Cyberpunk was like, you can put a dick on everything. I'm like, this is the fucking greatest game ever. And then it came out and it wasn't the greatest game ever, but that's a different story.
Have they improved Cyberpunk?
I don't
at all?
care to know, and it's not even back on the PlayStation Store yet, so...
Yeah, no. I think they've only done updates to the PC
Fuck, I
version.
just jabbed my elbow into the fucking disc. That hurt. CD Projekt Red heard me talking shit and was like, all right, that's enough of that.
CD Projekt.
Well, no,
desk.
apparently they got hacked, so they haven't even been able to get their newest patch out yet because they've been dealing with that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But realistically, like, the two biggest comments that I saw was the first one, like I just said, where they're like, well, if trans women just want to be women, can't they play as women? That's not the issue here. The worst one, though, is when people are just like, it doesn't need to be there. It's not important. It's like, well, yeah, to you it might not be.
Yeah.
I'm not trans, and it's not
and
important
you don't have
to
to
me,
choose it.
but I know it's important to somebody else. So
I'm gonna say a little bit of a hot take on this.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
I think there's going to be a time where this is no longer going to be need to be news, like breaking news at all. So while right now that it is breaking news where it's like this option is available, I think there's going to be a time where this option is just going to be just standard.
Is that your hot take?
And
That is not at all like where I thought that was going to go.
I was waiting for something to be like, Vish just said time's going to pass and people will get over it. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I understand why they're saying it out there. And again, for myself, like, I don't understand the gender thing, the gender neutral thing, or the like multiple gender thing. Like, besides male, female, and trans. I don't understand that there is like the whole multiple genders beyond that. I'm not gonna deny that. I think one day that something like this will just be okay, whatever. So
Well, I mean, even the difference is you may not understand it, but it doesn't make it invalid, which is why a lot of people like they think like, well, it shouldn't be in this game. It's not important. It's like, well, yeah, to you it might not be, but to some people out there that are going to want to play this game, that is really important to them. And even if they use it or not is inconsequential, because here's the biggest thing that bugs me. I've seen people be like, oh, I don't care, but is the game fun? Like, they do that thing. It's like, guys, they're adding character creation options. This isn't taking away from the game. They're acting like this is taking hours upon hours out of the game's life cycle. It's fucking just hitting a switch. They're just saying, if you want to be a male with a female voice and female clothes, you can do that. That doesn't take you hours to fucking produce. It's a fucking toggle.
Honestly, it's probably even less work because if say you make a
now you don't have to make like certain groups. You just let everything happen.
Yeah, there's no restriction. When you make the dress, you don't have to do the extra coding like only female characters can wear dress. Like you don't have to do that. You make the dress and you're like, cool, apply to all. Like that's less coding.
It's just easy. People are trying to find reasons to just reinforce their bigotry. That's the reality.
Yeah.
Is people just want to make up something that's about that. And I should know because I used to hang out with that group back a couple of years ago when I was still deep in that rabbit hole. And I know what they said. And I ironically went back to see what they said. Here's the weirdest thing. So this article was, I'm not going to say the subreddit name because I don't want people fucking looking it up and getting down that rabbit hole like I did. But there were two threads. One of them was about this story, and one of them was about the thing about Twitch saying Happy Women's History Month, but they were using women with the X, which is a whole nother story. I'm not going to get into it. But like I said, I'm not going to get into it because it doesn't matter. But in one thread, the Harry Potter one, it was positive. They're like, yeah, that's cool. Just give them whatever they want. Like it's not affecting much. And then on the other side, they were going, what the fuck is this bullshit? This trans agenda they're pushing on us. I don't understand how people are in this area where it feels like they just pick and choose what they want to be angry at anymore. And as a guy who used to be that and seeing it and going, oh my God, is this the shit that I was doing? And I look back at it now and I see everything that I would have said and I'm looking at it and being like, oh my God, I'm fucking wrong on this front. Like, why am I even caring about these things? And the core of it really just is. They're just letting people have more options. That's all it is. They're not forcing it down your throat. They're not forcing a trans character as the main character and there's no other choice. They're just letting you choose whatever you want to do. That's it. They're not forcing an agenda down your throat. They're not forcing you to accept some transgender fucking dick down your throat. They're just saying, hey, if you want to do it, like in Cyberpunk, hey, you want to have tits and a dick? Have fun. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, so this is one thing that I've realized in the past year because I know someone who lives in an ass backward state in America.
Now you're going to be a little more specific than that. That's like 90% of them right now.
Indiana. And this person is so manipulated by right-wing media to the point it's not only ridiculous, but it's almost dangerous.
It's not even necessarily a right thing, though. Like, there are people on the left that still have it. I mean, the existence of TERFs are a thing, and TERFs generally are left-leaning because they're feminists. So...
What's a TERF? Sorry.
It is a trans-exclusionary radical feminist. Okay. So basically, they believe in women's rights, but not if trans women are included. That's essentially it. So, like, it's definitely not just a right thing. I mean, granted, the right seems to have the much bigger fucking bin of Kool-Aid going on that they're spinning around, but, you know. In general, it's just, I don't understand how any gamer could look at a story like this and get angry, because there's no story here.
So
that's the biggest thing about this conversation. There's nothing here.
This doesn't, for me, with this part, if it's again, as I mentioned, I don't understand the whole situation because.
Well, like I said, though, there's nothing to understand in this. They're just
no. But
giving
what I'm
more
saying,
options.
if it doesn't affect the gameplay and the story, whatever.
Well, even
Life
if it
goes
did,
on.
who cares? Like, it's not putting a trans character in is not going to make a game shit.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying if it doesn't affect the gameplay and the story, that I'm just. I mean, saying
by the way, have you seen
on
Samus's genitals? Samus might be trans for all we fucking know. You don't know.
I don't know, man. In the first game, they revealed her in a bikini, and
are you saying trans people can't wear bikinis? You might want to be careful down that road you go there, sir.
I'm just saying, I did not see a dick on Samus. I didn't see.
It was fucking 8-bit.
It was 8 bits.
Like I said, be careful down that road you're going, sir. I'm not getting canceled over this shit.
I'm not getting us canceled before we get canceled.
You'd be surprised what people can get fucking shut down for.
I'm not getting us canceled before we get canceled.
Honestly, as long
But
as it
in
doesn't-
this specific junction, like there is nothing to be annoyed about because it's just an.
No.
These are the same people that were like, whenever there's not a girl as the lead role in a video game, they go, if you don't like it, don't play it. All right, here's a brainwave, guys. If you don't like the fact that you can be a trans person in this game, don't fucking play it. Problem solved.
Yeah.
These
or
idiots-
just play as a man or a woman. The option.
do whatever the fuck you want. But if you're gonna bitch about it, honestly, don't play the game because it sounds like it's not for you.
Yeah.
Go back
No.
to playing fucking whatever dumb shit you're still doing. Because I don't really want you here.
No, really.
Same
just-
goes for anybody
just-
that ever watches this stream or watches my channel. If you think that this story is a problem, get the fuck out of my channel. I don't want you here. I really don't. Because as somebody who used to fall into this thing, I know how fucking toxic it is, and I don't need that shit anymore. I don't need to go back into that rabbit hole, and I never want to go down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah, good for you for getting out of the rabbit hole.
I mean, it didn't take much. Thank God I missed I'm kind of sad that I missed out being around for the Jewish death lasers, though.
What?
Oh, have you not heard this story? Oh, man. So somebody
No.
I think it's either Congress or the Senate, is one of those QAnon people, and they believe in things like
Oh, this
Hillary
is
Clinton dines on like the blood of aborted fetuses to keep herself alive. And then there was a story that came out that they think the Jews have death lasers. To which, as a joke, I said, if anyone deserves death lasers right now, it's probably the Jews. I think we should let them have death lasers. I think they've
That
earned
is
it.
true.
They might need the extra protection.
Oh my fucking holy shit! How are people this fucking retarded?
Lack of education and religious fucking brainwashing.
Oh my god!
It's a steady
Religion
diet.
is
Holy
bad.
fuck!
Oh,
like,
sorry. You got to include like also 300 pounds of fucking grease shoved down your throat and living in a house where the air is so fucking
You know
horrible
what?
that your brain cells are just dying.
Adam, it's them Democrats who are spreading their liberal agenda.
Or you're just a dumb fuck. I like that option. That option works better for me. But yeah, no,
Oh,
like I saw this story and I went, "That's so fucking cool." And I remembered going back to into like 3 or 4 years ago, I would have been like, "That's so stupid. They're forcing it." And then now my brain's kicking in and being like, "So what if they're forcing it? It doesn't change anything. I'm still gonna play whatever the hell I want to."
No, I think again, if the option is there, it's there. And if you don't want to play as a transgender, then play as a man
Which-
or woman.
I mean, it's probably going to be most people because I think most people can plug in that game and go, I'll just do whatever I feel like doing right now. And if I want to play as a guy, I'll play as a guy. If I want to play as a girl, I want to play as a girl. And if I want to play as something that's not one of those two things, then I'll figure it out as I go.
And I'll say, in my personal opinion, the past like few games that I've really like loved in the past few years have been female character orientated games.
I mean, just in general, like we're going to get to a point that it's not going to be noticeable anymore. It's just going to be normal. And I think we're just in that phase where people are complaining. It's probably the same way that it was like when gay marriage was starting to become a thing around the world and people were fighting it because, you know, reasons, I guess.
Reasons, I guess, yeah.
But either way, I really didn't want to put this story out, but I'm like, fuck this. It just pisses me off watching anybody just make light of something that really didn't need to be talked about. Like they could have just announced this and then that was it, but it ended up turning into this fucking like shitstorm.
I'm
with
sure
some
you'll
people.
agree with me when I say it this time, but bitches be crazy.
No, bitches is too nice. Bitches is way too nice. Bigots be
Okay.
crazy. Bigots be
Cunts
crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Bigots be fucking assholes.
Yep.
But either way,
That's,
any last thoughts from you guys on anything else here? Because otherwise, I am done.
No, that's all I got.
Again, if you don't like it, but you want to play the game, just play as a man or woman. You don't have to play as a
Or
transgender.
don't play the game at all. Fuck you. Just don't play it.
Yeah, or just fucking
Apparently,
walk away from it.
if there's transgender people into it, and that's not something you like, well, I guess this game's not for you anymore. Oops. I guess you'll just have to go back to the other 10 million fucking games out on the storefronts that you can just play instead. I'm so sorry for you that you won't be able to play a Harry Potter video game. Of all the things.
Yeah.
A fictional world, and they're upset about trans people being in a game. A fictional world! I'm sure they're not going to be mad when you can play as a dragon girl in some other game. People won't get mad in Skyrim whenever all the crazy shit. I'm waiting for it. I want a transgender Khajiit. That's what I want.
What's a Kaji?
I think it's like it's like the name of I think that's the cat race in Elder Scrolls,
cat
isn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
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 So would the cat have tits and a dick?
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Who knows? It's not limited to just that.
Yeah.
But yeah. People need to shut the fuck up. So this has been the VCR podcast. Thank you so much for checking us out on this one. If you were listening to this on an audio service, I apologize in advance. We really, really benefited from video on this podcast, I think. Me playing a demo and us also watching a fucking video partially during the show. This didn't seem like an audio thing. That's my bad. You guys should probably just go to youtube.com/csradical and check out the VODs there. Or you can catch us live on Wednesday evenings at twitch.tv/csradical. That would be much better for you guys. But if you are listening to this on
between
audio service,
8 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Yeah, I don't want to give you a time anymore. I think I've learned not to do that.
But 8 and 9 is usually
I'm getting
safe.
tempted just to say 9 o'clock just to be like, all right, if you guys aren't here by 9, fuck you. I'm starting without you.
That's a good idea.
But yeah.
Hey, welcome to VCR Podcast. I'm Adam. No one else is here.
Yeah, I'm always the first one on time. It's just how it is.
I was on time. I just had technical difficulties.
That is a bullshit line. You know it. You said 8:30 and then you changed it to 8:45. You lying sack of shit.
No, I was here. At
I am not
8:30.
arguing times on this podcast. I have to do a bit. So yeah, if you were listening to this on an audio platform, obviously, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Google Podcasts, or any other place you can get podcasts, if you can give us a rating, do that. Otherwise, share with all your friends. Same goes if you're watching it on YouTube or the Twitch stream. If you can follow, subscribe, like the video, whatever that may be, please do so and share that with everybody else as well. So on behalf of Chris and Vish, I want to thank you guys one more time for checking us out on episode 65, and we will see you for the Mario Lemieux episode of episode 66 next week.
Night, everybody.
Cheers.